Alright, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start the game here. This is Fantasy versus Hero, and this is the 6th game of their OSL group. I am very, very excited to be here. For those of you watching this later, this is being recorded live on the scene of my school's parking lot. I'm sitting in the parking lot doing another parking lot commentary. But yes, very excited to be here. This is Fantasy versus Hero. There's Hero. You just saw a shot of him. He's the red Zerg, and he's going to be on the left side of the map. And Fantasy is going to be the orange Terran over on the right side of the map. And I am very excited to be casting this because this is a little bit of an important game in a sense. It's, well, basically this decides what's going to happen in this group. It's, Fantasy is at 2-0, Lita is at 2-1, and by.Hero is at 1-1. So basically, if Fantasy wins this game, then he and Lita automatically advance to the next round. That's the situation here. If Hero wins, then it will be a three-way tie between Fantasy, Lita, and by.Hero. And hold on just a second. Ooh. People are saying they didn't hear me? Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Anyway, oh, someone was just a noob and didn't know that you had to be on the stream to listen to me talking. So, sorry for that slight interruption. I thought for a second there, I panicked. I thought that, like, no one could hear me and this was all for nothing. But, apparently it's okay. So anyway, yes, moving on. So basically, the situation is such that if Hero wins this game, he's going to bring it to a three-way tie between him, Lita, and Fantasy, and then there will be tiebreakers between those three players to see which two advance, and they'll just do like a round robin, and whoever comes out with basically whoever wins 2 games advances, and whoever beat the third player between the other two advances also. Anyway, yeah, but tiebreakers will come later if they happen, because Fantasy could easily win this game, and then there wouldn't be any tiebreakers. He would just advance with Lita. So very, very interesting situation here, and you know, it's gonna be it's kind of hard to say who's gonna come out on top here, because actually neither of these players are really that good at this matchup. This is the worst matchup for both of them, and so it's not really. And I don't know what Fantasy was doing with that build anyways. Why was he building his barracks and depot like that? It was like, he's like, I'm going to build my barracks forward so that I can get my Marines out faster, but he built them like 1 inch forward, more forward than he would have if he just put it for a block in. So that was kind of weird, but I don't know why I did that. But anyways, Fantasy only at career 50%, 50% win rate against Zerg, and he's really, you know, he's never really beaten anyone that's too substantial. He's famous for beating GG in the last OSL, actually, but using some mech builds. He kind of came out of nowhere. He kind of started this whole new trend of mech versus Zerg that's been going on lately. But he started it, but he's really not that good at it, to be honest. He just kind of surprised GG, and GG just did not know what to do, and he owned him because he just didn't know how to react. But other than that, Fantasy hasn't really beaten any good Zerg players. I mean, he's beaten, you know, Type B. He beat Quanro, and that's significant. He beat Gamo in the Com Classic. He beat Savior when Savior sucked, but he really hasn't beaten anyone significant. I mean, he beat Yarnak once. He beat Firefist. Firefist is okay, but he hasn't really beaten anyone else. He's lost to Jadong and Effort and Saint, and anyone else who's decent at all he's lost to, except for GG. So really, I mean, I'm not really going to favor, you know, Fantasy in this matchup. Quick Lair, quick Spire here, by the way, coming for Hero. By the way, there's 2 players named Hero. One is by.Hero, who is the Zerg player. There's also a Hero V, I believe, who's a Protoss player. But anyways, on the other hand of things, versus Terran is not very good for Hero either. He hasn't really played a lot of games. He hasn't really been tested, so it's hard to say, you know, how his versus Terran is. I mean, he's mostly been getting success off of his versus Protoss more than anything. I mean, he beat Ruby to get into the OSL, but he beat Ruby and Bisu, and beating Bisu shows that he's at least a decent player, but, you know, he hasn't really beaten any decent Terrans either. I mean, he's lost to Lita and Light, and that sort of thing. He lost to Magic in the MSL, but he you know, he hasn't really done anything. So basically, the point being of the last like few minutes of rambling is that this game is an enigma. Both of these players suck at this matchup, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see who actually ends up coming out on top here. Now, if anything, I might say that Fantasy just has a lot more experience in the limelight, and so he might be able to handle the pressure of being in the OSL a little bit better. This is Hero's first time in the OSL, so you never know. But anyway, 2-catch mutas coming for Hero, and I think he morphed one of those larvae at his natural expansion before his Spire came in, so he's only going to have like 3 or 4 mutas to come out with pretty right at the beginning here. It's going to take him a minute to build up enough mutas to actually do some damage, and in the meantime, Fantasy is getting turrets up already, so he's going to have turrets with plenty of time to spare for when those mutalisks come in here, and he's got a group of Medic Marines as well. So these mutas are not going to be able to do any damage until he gets a few more of them. And oh wow, Hero setting up an expansion, or looking to set up an expansion in a very, very kind of a risky place actually. He's trying to get a 3rd gas. Instead of going for the safe mineral only inside his base, he's trying to get a 3rd gas, I think. And here come the mutalisks. There's a gap in the middle of his base where there's no turrets at all. There's and there are no turrets behind either, but he's going to be able to run his Medic Marines up there and force those mutalisks off. And he's going to have to pump mutalisks out of his couple hatcheries for another. Well, he's pumped out a few more. So he's almost up to, you know, probably 9 or 10 right now. There's a couple more joining that group, so he's probably now up to the kind of the 10 mark, or 10 or 11. Once you get that group of 11 mutalisks, that's really ideal, because then you can 2-hit turrets, assuming that they don't get repaired at all. And there he goes in, actually doing some straight attack, not microing much at all. That's a little bit careless by Hero, but he may have been macroing at that point in time, and he knew there were no Marines there, so he didn't want to worry too much about it. Nice micro on his part, though. Now the micro's kicked in. Now he's actually doing some damage there, destroying that group of Medic Marines. Only one turret is active, and he's dodging in and out of its range, so it's not even hitting him. Destroying SCVs left and right. Oh my god, several SCVs have gone down now. Probably almost like 7 or 8, 9, 10 SCVs. There's almost no SCVs left mining that expansion now. Fantasy's getting picked apart here. His Medic Marines are almost all dead. He's got 2 medics and 3 Marines left, and I don't think he's even killed any of Hero's mutalisks at this point. Hero is just absolutely rampaging around his base. 2-hatch mutalisks. I mean, this reminds me of a game that we saw. Who was that? I think it was Yarnak versus, crap, who was that? Where it was the last game of a series, and he just came out with this crazy, it was Flash. Yarnak beat Flash with a 2-hatch mutalisk, where he just kept microing his butt off, and just destroying Flash's entire army and all of his SCVs, and Flash could never get an army up. And look at this. He's doing the same thing. Hero's doing the same thing now. He's just going all in. The turret's almost dead. All the Medic Marines are gone. The barracks are under attack. The medic's under attack as well. He's got 1 bunker at his natural, so his natural's still going to be mining, but his barracks are going to get destroyed now. Oh my god, Fantasy is getting owned. Oh man, it looks like it's going to go to a 3-way tiebreaker. Another group of mutalisks coming in here. 2 control groups of mutalisks. This is game, ladies and gentlemen, because there is not much the Terran can do without barracks. As soon as his barracks go down, we're probably going to see GG here in just a minute. He's still got everything mining, but I don't know what he expects to accomplish without being able to, you know, he doesn't even have a factory up. He's nowhere near irradiate. The 2-hatch mutas are just too quick. You can't tech fast to get, or you basically get out-teched. And there goes the engineering bay. I have no idea why Fantasy is still in this game. Trying to build a barracks at his expansion. But this is all over. 2 groups of mutalisks against 3 turrets, 2 turrets in a second. 1 turret, and here goes the last turret. 0 turrets, no main base. Fantasy, you can see it on his face. This is futile. And he's running SCVs over there, but this is game. This is pretty much game. I have no idea why he's still fighting in this, because he can still win the tiebreaker, so all hope is not lost. I guess he was hoping that Hero was a noob and wasn't macroing at all, and so he didn't have an economy or something like that. And but he should have known by the crap ton of mutalisks coming in that Hero was definitely on top of his game. So Hero takes the game. Hero takes the last game of the set, and wow, that is amazing. This is going to go to a 3-way tiebreaker, and Hero, if he can play Zerg versus Terran like that, he's going to have a tiebreaker with 2 Terrans in that tiebreaker group. And if he can play like that and just have that beautiful micro that he showed after the beginning of the game, he stands a very good chance of making it out of that tiebreaker. So this is going to go to some tiebreakers, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. That was pretty intense, and it's really, really exciting to see Hero busting out of the woodwork here, just running into this Star League and grabbing it by the throat and doing really well in his first Star League ever. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you very much for watching, and let's move on to the next set.